no keys. Don't need no keys for my Hussein or my Ferrari. Don't need no keys for my Hussein or my Bugatti. Push the button.
What's good, YouTube? It is your boy Wayne from Evolve with Wayne, and I am back with more heat for you guys. So I told you that Pops was out of town last week, and we couldn't do our sports talk and pushing the button episodes. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop it double time for you guys. We are going to record one right this very moment, and then we're going to come back tomorrow with more heat for you guys. So you definitely want to stay tuned and look out for that video coming up. I do have my Pops on the line. So, Pops, what is good with you?
What's going on, son? How you feeling today?
I am feeling great. I have been in my bag. I have been grinding. As you can see, you've been seeing what I've had to, deal with. So, you can see me. I'm getting into it.
Yeah.
Do not forget, you guys, like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Please show your boys some love. I know y'all like these sports talk. Also, the vlog with the winner of the Amazon $25 gift card is coming out, you guys, right after this video. So be on the lookout for that as well. Anyways, Dad, what is up? We are missing the Browns talk from you, and I know you got information for me. So what do you got?
Well, first of all, I gotta apologize, and I have to say, I'm back. Look, Mom, I'm on TV.
Oh man!
No, but I had to go down to the A for a few days to take care of some business. Work on a new single for the Southern Soul tour that's coming out next year that I'm about to get on. So I had to go down there and work out. But I'm back, so I appreciate you holding it down and letting everybody know I'm back. But yeah, I got some things to talk about, and it's gonna be pushing the button tonight, baby. It's gonna be pushing the button.
Already know.
I'm gonna say that one for after this, but I'm gonna give kudos to our team because we got 5 players that made the Pro Bowl this year.
Okay. So who are they? Because I know you know the names. So which 5 of our Brown players are going to the Pro Bowl?
Oh, we got 3 offensive players and 2 defensive players. We got Wyatt Teller, Joe Patonio is the offensive lineman that made it. Nick Chubb made it. Kudos, Nick Chubb. And then
Nick fucking Chubb.
Yeah, buddy. Then on the defensive side, we have Denzel Ward and we have Myles Garrett.
I knew MG was going. Flash Garrett. I knew he had to go.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see that Denzel is going because he has showed me some things this year. I mean, year over year, he's progressively getting better. And this year, he is balling out for our defense.
And this is the first time he done made it since his rookie year. Remember, he came out and he was one of the better defensive backs in the league his freshman year. And a lot of it's because of the style of defense they was playing. When he came into the league, he was playing more man-to-man, which I think they got back to a little bit more this year as opposed to playing zone. See, that's the difference between him and the other quarterback who is more like Richard Sherman, who can play zone and man. Denzel Ward is more of a lockdown corner. So if you ask him to play zone, it kind of takes him out of his strength. So getting back to playing, man to man, allow him to showcase and highlight his game.
Okay. So he's there for the first time. Well, you said it was in his career, right?
Well, no, second time in his career. His first time was his rookie year.
First time was his rookie year. So now he finally made it back. So do you think that on the horizon we will get our Greg Newsome and JOK in that conversation?
It depends. They have the talent to do it. The one thing I think is lacking is the consistency of the defense. It's hard to say that at this point, seeing that 7 of the last 8 or 6 of the last 8 games, the defense that held teams to under or at exactly like 16 points. You know what I mean? The only problem that I have is that sometimes they emphasize scheme over players. So sometimes players that's not on the field, like a JOK, he's more of a situational player. Until he can become that 3-down player, I think it's going to be hard for him to get a Pro Bowl because they look at him as a specialty or a novelty player as opposed to a player who deserves to be in there. Now, if he was a 3-down player, I have no question in my mind that he'd be in the Pro Bowl soon.
Okay. Now, what about Greg Newsome? I know he's injured right now, or was he out with COVID? One of the two. But
he was out with a concussion for a minute, and then I think it was yesterday or today they put him on the COVID list.
So he went from injury to COVID.
Man, look, our whole team is.
I know you got a lot to talk about the COVID, so go ahead and get into it because I know it's coming. As a matter of fact, you guys, I am going to unpin myself. I am going to give him the ground, the floor, to deep dive into this because, for one, I have been here in the same house as Pops for a couple days now, you guys. So we have already talked, but I know what he got to say. So I'm going to let you guys hear. Go ahead, Dad.
Yeah, first of all, son, I don't never try to change nobody's mind. All I ask is that when you have the information, that you can take the information and get your own decision out of it. Now, we live in this society right now where everything is based on, I don't even call it COVID no more. You know what I call it now? I call it the boogeyman. This is what we are dealing with in today's age is the boogeyman, because we went from being shut down for 6 months to a year to bend the curve, get everything, to having the shot and all this other stuff. What I'm having problems understanding is that a team can have an outbreak and lose 8 to 10 players, if not more, after being vaccinated, because you have to understand now they're pushing this vaccination on people. So the NFL has their players vaccinated, but you're seeing an outbreak of the boogeyman in the NFL. Now, how is that possible when you have over, let's just say in the NFL, anywhere from 20 to 50,000 people in the stands? You don't hear nothing about no outbreaks there. Then you have colleges, somewhere up to 105,000 people in the stands, and you don't hear nothing about a breakout, but you hear about the athletes and they can't play for 10 days and then they back. Remember when this stuff came out, it was talking about deaths. I'm not saying that people aren't dying behind it. Prayers and condolences to those who have lost people because of the boogeyman. But if you really pay attention to everything that's going on, how is it that an NFL team can have an outbreak, but you have all these thousands of people in the stands and you don't hear nothing about an outbreak when it comes to them, but they want you to go and get the shot? I'm not understanding. It's not adding up to me. And I just want y'all to look at it from a different standpoint or from a different aspect and not be scared by everything that they put out about the boogeyman. Because like I said, the reason why I call it the boogeyman, because when you're growing up, what they tell you, oh, you better be careful. The boogeyman gonna get you. You never see the boogeyman. The boogeyman don't exist, but somehow you're scared of something that doesn't even exist. That's the exact same thing that's happening with this present situation and everything that's going on. So from now on, you won't hear me call it C19. If you ever hear me say the Boogeyman, that's what I'll be talking about from now on. So getting on to the point, the team literally had to bring people off the street, sign them off the practice squad in order to play in the last game. They got moved from Saturday to Monday at 5. And I give big ups because they played hard without having their first or second string quarterback, the head coach, several defensive players, several offensive players. You had offensive linemen playing out of position. I'm not one for moral victories, but I do respect that the players that came in, gave it their all. It came down to a last-second field goal, and we can talk about some of the play calling that hindered the Browns. Because me being a big Browns fan, I'm telling you right now, if it continues going down this road, we're going to be a 500% team or better. But until we change this play calling where we're playing not to lose as opposed to win, we're never going to get deep into the playoffs or even make it to the Super Bowl. Because if you're playing not to lose, you done already lost. So it is what it is, and I'm going to keep it 100 when it comes to that. Big ups to the Raiders because a lot of people thought that the Raiders were going to come in and really just mail it in because they really didn't have much to play for. But they actually did because by winning the game, they kept their team in the race for a wild card, which knocked us out because if we would have won, we would have went from last to first in the division. And the only thing we had to do is win 2 of the last 3 games, if not all 3 of the games. Now it's a slim chance that we'll get in. It's still a possibility, but we will have to beat Green Bay at Green Bay on Christmas and then take care of business with Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. Those are a couple tall things to do, especially when we are not really, a lot of us is not really sold on the quarterback play. With that being said, Nick Mullins, big ups for you to come off the practice squad and play in the NFL. It's not like he didn't have any NFL experience, but he didn't have any with the Browns up until that game, and he did his thing. It wasn't him or the defense. I think it was the play calling, because when we got the interception at the end of the game, all we needed was a first down to kill the clock. They had no timeouts left, and we couldn't even do that. We got real basic, real methodic, and yeah, you want to give it to your best player, but you still want to call certain plays to give your team the best opportunity to gain a first down in order to win. Some people say you're supposed to give it to Chubb, which is understandable because me and my son went to a game last year where Chubb put the game on ice, running down the sideline and then stepping out at the 1 yard line, just so he wouldn't score and get him the ball back. So Chubb is in position or have done it before. So I can't knock that. But it's several things you could have did. You know what I mean? They wasn't expecting us to throw the ball. We could have did a play action, waggle, roll out. Even if the receiver wasn't open, he could have ran, slid down, still took some time off the clock.
Right.
And then we could, could have punted. There's a couple things we could have did. It just seemed like we did the one thing that we've been we've been scouting on doing for this whole season. You know what I mean?
Right. And now that we didn't have Stefanski, right? So we had somebody else calling. So that's working against us when it comes to who's actually controlling the game. Then we also had a whole slew of players out. We got a couple back right before we went into that game, but we were still predictable, for lack of better words, because people knew exactly what we were going to do going into that game. when we moved our nose tackle over to guard, that pretty much threw the Raiders a instant hint that Chubb was getting the ball majority of the time, right? Like, I mean, then now we were going to run to the left side. I mean, that was the thing. I was listening to the sports talks and things like that, and one of the guys was like, I expect Chubb to touch the ball at least 25 times.
Yeah.
So they already knew we were going to run the ball, and Mullins could actually complete a pass. The things that I've seen out of him in that one game, if it was a missed, dropped ball or things like that, or if it was an incomplete pass, it was because the receiver dropped the ball more times than not. He was getting the ball there. It was touching their hands. And you taught me growing up that if the ball touched your hands, you are supposed to grab it. You are supposed to bring it in.
You are. But let me tell you what he did that we have been lacking from our quarterback as far as Baker. You know what he did? He went back to, you know what I mean? He went back out of Peoples Jones. Even after he dropped the pass, he went back to him.
Right.
When have you noticed Baker to do that? Anytime somebody drop a pass for Baker, Baker don't go back to you. He don't give you a chance to redeem yourself. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's what I liked about Mullins, because even when he dropped that one pass that could have moved us into scoring position or closer, to get a field goal.
Right.
He came back to him in the second half and kept him in the game. Do you even see him throwing to Hollywood Higgins?
Right.
This is the first time we done see a quarterback use our receivers more than our tight ends.
Right. Yeah, he only threw a couple to the tight ends. He threw one long pass to Joku. And if the safety wouldn't have came over, that would have been a completion. But he was hitting DPJ and Hollywood the entire game, or at least looking for them to become open, and kept doing it. And he was getting the play actions, which is crazy because I've been saying we need to run more play actions, even with Baker. Right. And it wasn't until this game that we actually started running those play actions, getting the quarterback out the pocket and opening up his vision to be able to target his wide receivers.
Yeah.
We haven't been doing that. We haven't been doing it. Baker's eyes been sitting in a pocket, getting crushed, injured, and completing every pass.
And you want to hear another stat that's fascinating? He did not get sacked not once.
Which is crazy.
With an offensive line with two players that came off the practice squad. You had a guard that moved out the tackle. So the whole offensive line was reassigned, and we didn't give up a sack. So a lot of people will think of it as it's more on the offensive line, but you have to think about how this quarterback played. He stood in the pocket and was throwing. He didn't have to throw deep. He was throwing mid-range. He wasn't just dinking and dunking. He was able to see the field. And then you never heard him say not once in this game that we didn't have receivers that couldn't get open.
Right. and when anybody got anywhere near him, he got out of there. He ran. He got out of there. He seen it coming. Now, I do want to ask you a question because I've seen something on one of my Browns Facebook pages that said this entire game, when Mullins was on the sideline and he wasn't, like, if it was defense or whatever the case may be, nobody was around him. None of the players was over there, talking to him. None of the coaches was trying to make adjustments and, see what he can do better. He was basically just a lone wolf over there. And his only job was to get in when he was on offense. Nobody was going to talk to him outside of that.
Well, outside of the receivers, I seen the receivers talking to him. That's one thing I did notice is that, like, even when Donovan Peoples-Jones dropped the ball, they did show the sideline that they were sitting beside each other and they was talking almost like, what did you see? Or how can we get on the same page? Right. It wasn't like, he was just sitting there like, this is just, nah. I think if he would have had, let's say, the same time in the backfield or practice time as the backup quarterback, it would have been a whole different result. It was like because they felt like he came off the street, they called a real pedestrian game and didn't give him a chance to win it.
Right. Now, I don't think that like he was icing himself off, for lack of better words. I just thought it was weird that the coaches weren't doing more to help him adjust throughout that game because he was playing a good game. But there could have been one or two things that the coaches could have been, okay, next time, go this way or help with. But the coaches couldn't even bother to, help him adjust throughout the course of the game. They pretty much just left it to him. They, was talking to Chubb, and Chubb don't talk much, and the wide receivers will be over with Mullins, which he did his job. But why didn't the coaches do the same thing that DPJ did, right?
I think that's been all season because you notice they don't even do that with Baker. If you notice with Aaron Rodgers or even with Tom Brady, when he's on the sideline, there's a coach over there with the little digital playbook going over what happened that last series to try to make adjustments. I very rarely, I ain't gonna say I never seen it. I very rarely see it on the Browns sideline. And that's going back to the beginning of the season. Normally when you're watching a high-powered offense or a team that's winning, you'll see those type of things happening where it won't be the head coach, but it'll be offensive coordinator, or it'll be the quarterback coach that will sit next to the quarterback, and they will just go over miss throws or what you could have did, who might have been open. This is something that's been going on, so it doesn't shock me that they didn't do it with Mullins because they haven't had a history of doing it all season. And that's something that they might have to look into doing next year if they keep this quarterback or if they move on. I'm not sold on Baker. People can say what they want. Me being an athlete, me playing the game, I see the intangibles that he's lacking that they can put the narrative on it that all they want is the receivers ain't getting open, the running game ain't doing this, he's injured. But when you get somebody off the street and they do those little things that teams need to stay competitive, because to be frank with you, going into this game, we thought the Browns was going to get blown out because of how many people they was down. And for them to take this game and actually be leading the game up until that last drive was a pretty good feat for a team that they didn't even know who was going to be playing on the day of the game. They were still knocking people off because of the Boogeyman.
Right. I completely get that. Now,
so yeah, it's going to be interesting because now, with that being said, we done went from potentially being number one in the AFC North with a chance of having a home field game in the playoffs to now we're in last and we need so many things to happen for us to even get into the playoffs at this point. Because right now we're behind not only Cincinnati, we're behind Baltimore, and we're half a game behind Pittsburgh. Good thing is we play Cincinnati and Pittsburgh coming up. Cincinnati and Baltimore got to play, and Pittsburgh and Baltimore got to play. So they're going to, however that plays out, we still lost our leverage that we might have had after we beat the Baltimore game, because we really needed to win this Raiders game, which would have gave us a little leeway on the Green Bay game. Right now, we have to go into Green Bay and try to stop that high-power offense, which I think we can with our defense, because our defense has been balling. You can say what you want to say. Anytime you hold 18 or 6 teams or better under 16 points, you're doing your job as a defense. Because anyone tell you, if your defense holds someone to 16 or better, the only thing you got to do is score 3 touchdowns. You should be able to win the game.
Right. And our defense is forcing turnovers. So they're giving us extra opportunities. We're just not capitalizing it on offense. So
we don't play aggressive.
Right.
We don't play
at
aggressive.
all.
We play not to lose as opposed to winning a game. And that's even when Stefanski is calling the plays. He'll come out the first quarter and a half, and we might put 23 points up. Let's just go back to like last year. And we jumped out on Tennessee 21, 28 points. Instead of, trying to build that mentality that we putting teams away, what he do? He sits on that 28 and he try to milk the clock away. And that becomes an attitude and a behavior that your team has, and it's coming back to bite us this year, because now in every game, once we get a lead, instead of putting the team away, we play not to lose. We play, okay, we'll win by 2 or 3 points. No, if you're going to be a championship team, you got to let these teams know that we will hang 30 or 40 on you at will. And if we can't, then we'll slug it out. But if we know we can, we're going to do it.
Like we did with the Bengals. But even then, we let them get more traction and come back. Last year, we had the Dallas game that happened to, the Tennessee game that happened to, the first game of the playoffs against Pittsburgh. We scored on defense in the first 3 seconds. We had, 5 interceptions? We were up by 5 touchdowns the first half, come out of the half, and now they're catching back up. Now it's a nail biter. So
that's a mentality. That's a culture that you really don't want to have. And I'm afraid that it's going to bite us not only this year, but it's going to bite us next year. You know what I mean? Because if you do that, you're limiting yourself and your mentality that you have with your players. You have to be aggressive. You know what I mean? Because any given Sunday or Monday, Tuesday or Thursday, you can lose.
Right.
But if you want to be a championship team, you have to be able to put teams away, not play down to their level, not give them a chance to come back and hold them to missing a field goal at the end of the game. You got to put them out to where they don't even have a chance to win. If you take away their heart, then the next team is going to see that, and it makes the game easier for you. But if they know you're just going to do enough to get by, any team feel like they got a chance to come back.
And it's tough because I watch these other teams that make the necessary adjustments and they go for it. For instance, Belichick, he ran a game where they literally ran everything but 3 plays where they threw the ball because of the weather. The game last weekend, which we're going to talk about in tomorrow's segment, but the Chargers, they literally went for every single 4th down play. They did not let their kicker on that field until the end of the game. Now, they ended up coming back to bite them because they could have had an extra 3 points when they were, in the red zone, and maybe they wasn't going to punch it in because they kept going for it, trying to be hungry enough to take that lead. It only worked a couple of times, but they went for it. That coach was not letting that kicker punt the ball or field goal the ball.
But not only that, but when you got a quarterback that can keep you in the games, it's not as scary as when you got a quarterback that can't do nothing in the 4th quarter.
Right. Right.
It's a big difference. If I know I got a beast back there at quarterback and we down by 7 in the 4th, okay, a couple plays could change the outcome. But where we're sitting now with our Browns is that we don't have a quarterback that can get us any points at this juncture in the 3rd and 4th quarter. So, everybody was talking about, well, if Baker was there, it wouldn't have been in that position. Yeah, it would, because we would have probably scored 10 points in the first half, and then let them ease back into the second half. This is the first time under Mullins that we came back and we scored in the third and fourth quarter.
Right. And that's a big thing. That is a very big thing, because I've been saying that for a while. We are not a come-behind team, but that plays a big part when you got Baker as quarterback. Because when Mullins played, when I thought in our normal instincts, right, we were going to lose that game. We were down going into the half. Mullins kept us in the game. Between him giving it to Chubb, him still hitting DPJ, him targeting Higgins, him, rolling out that pocket, not allowing himself to be sacked. These are things that make you quality enough to be able to take a game, turn it around, and win. These are qualities that your Brady's got and your Aaron Rodgers got that you hear people say all the time in the last minute. Well, you gave him too much time on the clock. You gave him too much time, right? Now, I can see us having 2 minutes with a suffice play calling and Mullins actually taking it down the field and getting the job done. I don't see that out of Baker. I don't see him getting the first down.
No, not check down Charlie. No, not check down Charlie. No, he ain't. And I don't know if it's because of his height. It can be a number of things. I'm just one of those people. I always tell people, when somebody show you who they are, it's on you to believe them. You know what I mean? You can make excuses for anybody. Well, he wasn't like that yesterday. Okay, well, he's like that today. You know, if you're consistent in who you are, then it's going to play out every time somebody cross paths with you. But, if you want people to believe that you are somebody that you're not going to be consistent in your everyday walk, and it's going to come across, that way. And I don't want to, beat a dead horse or, seem like I'm just coming down on Baker, but I'm just not so. He just don't have the intangibles to me. And he's too inconsistent to be consistent.
Right, and I can definitely agree with that. So, I'm going to ask the question to end this video off, because I promised the people we were getting them 2 episodes back to back. So tomorrow we will be back with more sports talk. I might actually be at some point throughout the conversation so we can go over those predictions, and then you're going to get all 3 of our predictions for the games coming up this weekend. But anyways, do you think that Nick Mullins would be our best shot at QB1 out of what you've seen over Baker going forward?
Let me put it like this: it can't be no worse. For real, I mean, I really can't say, because if he was able to do this with just 1 day of practice, just think what he would have did with a preseason. Just think what he would have did with OBJ on the outside. I mean, it's no coincidence that after this game, like even when we play Detroit, what they say, we didn't have any receivers that could get open. This is what we've been hearing since OBJ been gone. But now you got a new quarterback. You got Hollywood Higgins was there. You have Donovan Peoples-Jones. You had your tight ends. You didn't hear nobody, not even the commentators, say that the receivers on the Browns couldn't get open. So now it gives me kind of thinking back to what OBJ's dad said, what Kareem Hunt's dad said. Baker, he's gun shy. He can't hit the open guy. You got to be wide open. I mean, you have to be a Chevette in a mall parking lot when the hours is closed for Baker to throw it to you.
Man. Yeah, so man, oh man. You're not wrong. Now, do you think if Nick would have had Juice.
Oh, bruh.
That we would have won.
No doubt. No doubt, because you got to understand, Juice brings them intangibles to our offense. You see what I'm saying? Right now, the problem lies with the Browns, as you see. The receivers don't believe in Baker. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to put it out there. Mullins showed that even if you drop a ball, I'm coming back to you. You know what I mean? That's what a quarterback does. Every receiver is going to drop a ball periodically. So if your quarterback see you drop a ball and then you don't get another pass or he looks you off the rest of the game, it kind of messes with your psyche as a receiver, because not all receivers are prima donnas, but a lot of them want to catch the ball, and they want to have a quarterback that believes that, okay, even if you drop it, I got you. I'm going to come back to you because I'm going to need you later. You know what I mean? They don't have that same feeling when Baker's there. And I'm telling you, we got exposed when OBJ left because everybody didn't know what the turmoil around that whole situation was until that pimple busted. You know what I mean? And it was like, hold on, he's not on the team no more? Why? So now they try to figure out, was it OBJ or was it Baker? But they can't say it was OBJ because not one person in that locker room came out and said he was a messed up teammate.
Right.
No, you see what I'm saying? And now he's playing with the Rams, and you don't hear nothing about, well, he lost the step or he ain't doing this. No, he's doing exactly what OBJ would have did in the same similar offense, because remember, the Rams run a similar offense to the Browns. Right. They all that same coaching tree. So it had to, was it the coach that didn't want to get OBJ involved, or was it Baker icing him out? Either way it go, how do you not try to engage or try to get one of your best players involved? Right. Even for example, who else runs the same offense? San Fran. They run a similar offense to what we run. They got about one tight end on their squad. One tight end. On the other hand, we're sitting here trying to play like we got 3 badass tight ends that can change the game. And we all run the same similar offense. So I don't know what it is, and I think it's because Baker is limited on how he see the field, or throwing passes to throw people open, or they got to be totally open for him to throw them the ball.
Right. I get that. I agree with that. I wanted to get your input on it and see exactly what you thought about it. With that being said, you guys, I am going to end this one here. It has been a very long day. I am exhausted, and I want to get this up to you guys because tomorrow we will be right back. So,
yes, sir.
So this is the end of the video. We are about to get up out of here. I'm about to get this up for you guys. Do not forget, hit that notification bell, like, comment, subscribe, share. Even if you don't particularly like sports, someone you know do. And we talk about everything. We don't just talk about Browns. However, tonight's segment was specifically about just that because we haven't been able to talk about it in about a week and a half, you guys. So, like I said, you guys,
look, tomorrow we're gonna go over the Pro Bowl list. We're gonna go over the AFC and the NFC, and we're gonna talk about some of the games that's coming out, coming up this weekend. But it's kind of interesting to see some of the Pro Bowl because Justin Herbert,
he made it.
Yeah, from the Chargers. So he wasn't even a number 1 pick. He was in the first round, but he's balling out there, and he made it to the Pro Bowl. We still have a quarterback that we chose number 1 Heisman Trophy winner that ain't even sniffing the Pro Bowl.
And for that, we're going to leave y'all right there. This is Wayne from Evolve with Wayne, your boy Bingo, a.k.a. My Pops, and we are out of here.
Yes, sir, we out.
Peace.
Peace.